Man, this is lifestyles of the poor and unfucking fortunate. But I tell you what, but bitch, we got views.
What's going on, everybody? Chad Arms TV. We're back with part 2 with the guy Squints 615, and we ended part 1 with him. Part 1 he was basically just going over growing up, like how he got into music, his first actual album, his first taste of like the music, the music business as far as like the grind and all that stuff. And we're up to 2006. He had just released "Time for a Change," and you want to just kind of pick up from there. Since we're on this will be part 2.
All right.
So,
yeah, "Time for a Change," whatever, like 06, 07, whenever that really came out. If I had a copy of it, I could tell you. But
it had to have been 06, bro, because we met in 07, and it was already out.
But about the time I made it and was running out of physical copies, is when I was eager to make more music, and I kind of wasn't happy with the scenario where I was. I was kind of moving around a lot, or trying to move around a lot, but I was always having to sort of sit still to make anything happen as far as making music, and that really wasn't working for me. Like, I was too eager to move around and meet people and collab and like do shit, you know what I'm saying? And I don't remember where it was exactly where I met you the first time, Chad.
I think the first time we ever met was at shout out to Cliffy.
Yeah, okay, so Cliffy.
The Gallatin show.
Gallatin show.
Yeah,
okay.
I met you and B. Howard the same night, bro.
Okay, yeah, so I brung B. Howard out.
Because you were on Cliffy's set.
Yeah, I was on Cliffy's set.
Because you did a song with him.
Yeah, I did a song with Cliffy. And I came out to do a small set and had brought B. Howard out with me to do the song "Do Something." That was like the lead single off of that first mixtape. That was the only song really worth listening to on that first mixtape, if I remember correctly. But yeah, I brought B. Howard out, and I remember meeting Chad that night, and Chad had this thing called Show and Prove Entertainment. And I was already familiar with his music a little bit, but not familiar with his music, if that makes any sense. Like, yeah. I guess I knew he was a rapper, but I didn't know.
I was C-Dub then. That's what I was C-Dub.
And he had just finished the Rapaholic album or something like that.
Because it was 07.
Yeah, so we exchanged discs, you know what I'm saying? And I don't even know if I gave him a listen or he had gave me a listen. I don't remember what our attraction was as far as getting together and becoming what we became, but I don't know. I wish I could speak on it more than that.
I remember that
show.
That show we linked up because I hit up you and B. Howard because I thought both of y'all were so fucking dope at that show and got y'all on Go Time. Go Time is a song that if you look up Chad Arms Go Time, you'll find it on YouTube. It's me, Squints, and B. Howard. That was 2007. Record. Yes, that was. It was just one of those things where I got both y'all on the record, and after that, I want to say, because you came out to the house and we worked on that, and you straight up told me, I remember this like it was yesterday, we were driving through White House going to Hardee's or something, and you said, man, I really don't fuck with white rappers.
Yeah. You
straight up told me that. He was like, but I think your shit's dope. Yeah. He said there's only a few white rappers I fuck with. It's because at that time, there were so many that were coming out because Eminem had just popped real big in the early 2000s. Yeah. And of course, Stack had been popping locally. And Jelly was popping, and Shrug and all them were starting to pop. So it was like, and especially in Nashville, it was just it was a lot of them.
Yeah, oversaturated.
It was oversaturation for sure. So that's one thing I do remember. That was when I think you recorded the Go Time verse
at Made Antique.
Yeah, at there. But what I'm talking about, where we went, you came over to record. It was a verse for maybe it was OV. Okay. Or it was some kind of verse you was recording with me. Yeah. After that, we kind of just linked up, and I don't really know how we decided, like...
to run with it.
Let's run, because I was running with Show and Prove already, because it was me, Brandon E, and Bobby Hooks, and
which I was, but I remember being completely almost unfamiliar with those guys until I was with the camp. Like,
for sure, because
I didn't know them at all.
The first few times that we had met and hung out, it was just me. It was just us two, yeah.
Yeah, and I think I had told him right then, like, bro, I'm a free agent. I'm ready to work. Like, I've been looking for an opportunity to work and just keep working and just focus on this shit and go for it. And Chad was like, hey, man, I'm your guy. I got this shit called Show and Prove. And like he said, he picked up on me and B. Howard's performance from before then, that night at that Cliffy show. And I think we knocked out a couple records and the chemistry just kept clicking. And shit, man, next thing you know, I was Show and Prove through and through. And it's been that way for fucking ever since, dog.
Since then, yeah.
Yeah, since 07. And shit, 14 years.
Yeah, so 07... we started we started to work, and then you fast forward to say 2008. You know, I had been working with Blaze 314. We got to get him over here. We got to get him over here and do some stuff.
Yeah,
for sure. Shout out to Blaze.
Shout out Blaze.
I met Blaze in 06, same way, at a show. The thing about Blaze that was funny is I was a huge fan of his music, and before I even knew, before I met him. Yeah. I just heard of him from St. Louis, and because he had that similar style to Bone, I was all in.
Monster.
Well, I got a feature from Blaze for the Rapaholic album, and then me and him started working real closely, similar to what you were doing, but he was with Brown Wave at the time.
Yeah.
With knowledge and technique.
Brown.
Yeah. Well, so we did that. Well, fast forward to 2008, I do a feature with Blaze and B. Howard, and it was like, well, let's try to work on an album together. Remember?
Yeah.
So
Our Tribe.
That's where Arch Rivals happened. Well, I think the Arch Rivals thing was, it just kind of happened. It started from a feature that turned into an album of all four of us, which was myself.
And I remember I wasn't originally supposed to be a part of it.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you go back and listen to that album, which I still to this day love that album.
Me too.
The album was me, Blaze, and B. Howard. Yeah. Well, Squints was already showing proof.
I said, hold on a minute.
And so he got on one of the songs, and then we were like, shit, let's do all four of us. So Squints didn't get on every song, but he got on a lot of them, and that turned into...
And there was a couple where they added me after the fact. Like
How Cool Am I was like that.
How Cool Am I? Like, I had to be on that fucking record. But Our Travels was a fun fucking time for showing proof, for sure.
For sure. Yeah. It was great. You want to talk about that? You want to talk about the Our Travel stuff?
Yeah, just like Chad said, Our Travels came from nothing all of a sudden. Like, it was, these guys had been working on records here and there. And at the time, I just moved to Nashville, I think. Like, I was more Davidson County at that time. It was right out of high school. Yeah. No, well, not right out of high school. But I was in Davidson County already, for sure. So it was a lot more accessible to me to come meet y'all at Blaze's house.
Yeah.
But that's how the records just sort of started accumulating. And then I'm like, wait a minute, y'all motherfuckers are working on an album?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't want to just be featured. I wanted to be on it. But then we turned it into something. We turned it into a half-assed brand to where we could have kept dribbling that one, man. We made a move with Our Travels. That was when
that could have been humongous.
It really could have, man. Especially looking back, because Blaze, if you're not familiar with Blaze 314, man, he's a different kind of rapper, dude. He was from St. Louis, and like Chad said, Blaze rapped like a Bone, kind of tongue twisty, twist.
But he had punchlines for days.
Punchlines are really like you got to listen to it 2 or 3 times before you start really picking up on some of the shit the kid was saying.
It was like a flashy, busy Bone with punchlines.
Yeah, bro. I remember me and Chad seeing Blaze perform, and he was unlike any other performing dude. Like Blaze, if you look back at some of the old Chad Arms TV shit, Blaze is the one without his shirt on. Like he was constantly just he'd perform like it was an arena full of 100,000 people, man. But he brought hype to our set that was a different level, and it was like that for years. Like even aside from Arch Rivals, like during Chad's sets and my sets and Scum or Worm or anybody, like if we were on stage, dude, Blaze was up there acting a damn fool, man. We need to get him over here.
For sure, man.
That's his computer over there, and he's gonna get it. That's how we'll get it.
For sure, we definitely got to get him on the podcast and get him to do his sit down interview too.
Yeah.
So we do the Arch Rival stuff in 08, and then towards the end of 08, I do remember. See, that's when the Rutledge stuff started. Even before that, because I remember there's footage on Chat Arms TV of your birthday bash
at the Rutledge.
At the Rutledge, that was before Arch Rivals. We were on stage performing B. Howard's song. He was performing, and we were just on stage kicking it.
Yeah, for sure.
That was before. So that's 08. We started doing the Rutledge stuff 07, 08, and that started just to kind of.
One of those shows is where I blew my knee out. Remember that? That was the first time I blew my knee out, and I didn't realize it. Never went to the hospital or anything. Yeah, I did.
I forget. I remember that.
But dude, it fucked me up.
You did it on that jump for the getting wham.
There's footage of it somewhere on Chat Arms TV. I hyperextended my knee really bad. That was the first time I ever do it. And later on in life, up to 2 year and a half ago, I had surgery on that knee finally. Yeah. But it probably started in that video.
Yeah, I remember because we went over the game tapes the next day because I was staying at your house or I came over there or something. You were like, dude, right here, this is where I blew my knee out.
Yeah. And
I you see your knee buckle a little bit. You just kept performing.
It buckles, and I walk around stage. There's also footage of me throwing up somewhere on stage. Do you remember that?
I don't think it's not a.
Yeah, it's not like on camera, but you
Yeah.
see me sort of just, I'm like in the zone and I rap my verse to something and then I immediately walk to the side of the stage. Chad's like doing my hook and I like walk to the side of the stage and grab the curtain and just lean my head back for 3.5 seconds and come back out and start rapping again. I literally leaned behind the curtain and vomited.
Yeah.
That was at the Rutledge.
Yeah, man. The Rutledge was a big staple for us, man. Like, and then of course, end of '08, and Squints is here through all this. End of '08, if you watch the channel, we talk about that's when Chat Arms TV started. New Year's Eve '08 is when I bought the camera, and
that changed everything.
That's kind of what.
Yeah, so we had already established ourselves at like this little local platform that everybody wanted to be a part of, and everybody was kind of like getting to be a part of, but we kind of got to where we were always being a part of it. Like it became to where like if anybody was doing something at the Rutledge, they were definitely going to holler at Show and Prove to be a part of it with them because they knew we were going to shake it. Like that's just kind of like, and if it was sort of like how we do the podcast and Chat Arms TV now, like same with our artists back then. Like if Chad was out of town, it'd be Squints, Blaze, and Scum. If Scum couldn't come, it'd be Blaze, Chad, and Squints, and B. Howard. Or, you know what I mean? There was always like a formula we could make it shake, and that you guaranteed to see these T-shirts in the room somewhere. Like it was always week after week after week after week for what seems to be like 2 or 3 years. We were at this club doing our thing.
Yeah, I mean, Rutledge was it literally was for me, for sure, it was 07 to 2011. I mean, it was literally 4 years straight.
Yeah, 3 or 4 years straight. Like that's all it was. And it was, and if we had projects, we'd be pressing them up. We'd be out on that grind. And I've always been in the print industry to where we all had legit inserts and shit to sort of cycle our CDs with. Like I remember having the tower at my old spot. I used to work at a place called CCM back in I don't know what years those were, Chatty. They were all the way up till about 5 years ago.
I mean, I was putting out hundreds and thousands of
Chad would
mixtapes.
literally come to my job while I'm at work just to use our tower. But yet my boss, RIP John Brenner, that's the homie. He used to he believed in our craft so much that he would let Chad come on the clock, like while I'm working and shit. He'd let my buddy come stand 6 feet from me and burn CDs for our show that night.
Yeah.
And the next night. Like Chad would literally, just like a machine, sit over there and knock out 10, 12 CDs at a time on this tower, which back then was unheard of to have a 12-disc tower.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you'd be lucky if you had one of them 2 or 3 spindle joints. But
well, you let me borrow that. Remember you had one of those and you let me take that with me.
And shout out to John Brenner again. Gave me that because he believed in our craft so much. He was like, dude, why don't you just take that little 3-burner home? That way y'all can just use it all the time rather than rushing down here and burning 12 at a time so fast and relying on it and shit. But, you know, we probably didn't even recognize the value of that at the time, man. But just something like that meant so much for us to be able to burn that many CDs at a time because that consisted of our grind week after week after week. It was a handfuls of CDs. I remember talking to Chad, like prepping up and he would just come stay with me because Chad lives in Greenbrier, always has, and he'd drive to Nashville, shack up with me on a Friday, Saturday night, literally probably sometimes both nights, shack up with me Friday and Saturday night, shutting down the Rutledge every night, but on that 2-3 disc burner, literally burning 12 Squint CDs, 12 Chad CDs, 10 Scum CDs, 15 compilation CDs, 5 Bobby Hook CDs, 5 Blaze 314 CDs, 10 Arch Rival CDs. Like, that was it. And we would literally, week after week after week, fucking go to the same spot, perform for sometimes the same people with a fucking arsenal of CDs, man. Like, that was the grind. That was it. That was all. That's how we lived it.
Yeah, for sure.
Chasing a dream.
Definitely was chasing it, man. And then, like I said, because, you know, like we're talking about the Rutledge, I mean, the Arch Rivals, we did the UMC.
Yeah.
Which was
Urban
super dope.
Music Challenge.
Yeah, super dope. Lost in the championship to Action. Shout out Action.
Yeah, Arch Rivals lost in the championship to Action.
But that was such a dope experience for us.
That was where we met Black Catfish. That's how we met 5-3.
Yep, who's part of the podcast
part
now.
Of the podcast.
Yeah, so it all comes together nicely, man. So this has been part 2, man. Like I said, we're talking part 3. What we'll do is we're going to talk about we're just going to follow up from that. We can talk about your solo album, start the Grind to Shine, stuff like that. So,
all right, bet.
Yeah. So Chat Arms TV.